So today we're doing kind of wireless wiring, and yeah, the various ways you can kind of accomplish that. Starting off basics, I guess dart traps. Um, there's no wire connecting these two, but it's gonna take a long time for your signal to get all the way across the map. Um, and you're taking this kind of Manhattan route, um, if you want to go around corners, which it's pretty good. You still have to dig a tunnel if you're going underground, so why not just place some wires? Not very helpful. You can speed it up with portal guns as well, but that's post Moonlord, and they can't actually go down. Um, so already limited. These can be used to make pretty good, pretty fast um, engines, which is awesome. Um, and I guess technically, these are wireless, day, night, um, whatever. You can do something cooler with that, just for like journey mode. You want something quickly. Um, if you toggle between night and day within half a second, you get an output. But normally there's no output, which is cool. And then you got obviously world load detectors, which it is wireless, but it's only um, once per login. This is the hard mode version, and this is the pre-hard mode version, um, which takes a little longer, and you need to be nearby it, so it's a bit dodgy. But we're gonna go a little bit further than this today. Some cool new discoveries. The first one is kind of a player nearby detector. This is just a world load detector, and that activates this machine. So if you're far away from it, um, you detects far away. But if you get closer, detects nearby. Um, this works, on a pretty basic principle. Um, See, when we're far away, the turtle despawns immediately. Can't hit this pressure plate. But when you're nearby it can start to hit this pressure plate. And then there's just some logic to, you know, connect it all together to detect that. I made this years ago. It's probably a better way to do this. Um, but yeah, it's this kind of like alternating 1 second timer sort of thing. Because one timer needs to be on. If they both activate at the same time, there's a 50-50 chance that it will detect, not detected twice. Um, so you need to like alternate them, and that's what this is for. Making that alternation on the first activation, which I think is pretty cool. With this, you can do some cool magical trickery. Um, there's this zone here, and if you're inside it, you're in the zone, and if you're outside of it, you're outside of the zone. That's just two of these plugged together um, through these wires, and another one here, and the kind of triangle overlap in the middle of where they can spawn. You've got like this AND circuit. So if both are activated, um, it'll detect. So cool, kind of wireless. But you have to be in like a certain distance, and these are like painful to make. Um, but yeah, a few years later, I discovered this much simpler player nearby detector, using you know enemies rather than critters because they can be teleported. Um, they go along this Hoyt track. If there's a player nearby, it won't despawn before it hits this. But if there's no player nearby, it'll despawn before this. That This one teleports the dummy before it can reach the end, back to its starting position. But if there's no um, activation here, it reaches the end and detects a player is far away. Yeah, I'm using these Viking statues because if we go into master mode and then put like a blood zombie here, the enemies don't die fast enough, so you get this kind of glitchy, sort of horrible mess after a while of detections, false detections. Um, but you can fix this by simply teleporting them far away somewhere instead of killing them with lava. But that's up to you. Yeah, if you want to see how it works without it, it's reaching the end, and this is despawning here, which is, more player nearby stuff. Um, and you can also make this work in pre-hard mode pretty easily. Pre-hard mode world load detector, because most of the logic is just Wikitronics, and then you've got this similar circuit that makes it not a constant detection. It works exactly the same. Yeah. The next idea is more stupid and ridiculous, but I wanted to make something universal that would allow me to, you know, send a signal anywhere in the world without, running a wire across it. So my first idea was this: um, a massive water tank with actuators, double actuators, running underneath it, so the water doesn't actually fall. It's just updated, um, and it's a huge amount of updates, which is, the game can't really handle it. Um, but yeah, what happens is if we explode this and activate it at the same time, a huge lag spike, and these liquids don't fall. So the idea was to build on this concept, have some kind of constantly falling liquids somewhere in the world. Um, and if they stop falling for whatever reason, um, you can detect that through a timing system. And then you can update the blocks after a while, and then if you maybe actuated something, they'd start to fall down again. Um, but it was just impractical, and liquids are hard to work with, and I didn't like it. Um, at the end of the day, I mean, who can build this? It's awful. Yeah. Next idea then. But what I realized when I was testing the um, player nearby detectors, the newer versions, was quite cool. So if you put this on, it'll continually bing bong. And I was like, cool. Um, but if you go to the beach, it continues to bing bong, even though you're, um, you know, thousands of blocks away. It can still detect an enemy spawning, which I didn't think was possible. Um, but yeah, we build on that. So if we have like a mechanism somewhere in the world that's constantly giving out a signal, we need some way to disrupt that signal, and we can detect that disruption through logic and that sort of thing, timings. But yeah, there's a global limit of 10 of each statue spawned enemy in a world. So if you spawn in 10 statues anywhere in the world, spawn in 10 enemies, um, the signal on the other end is disrupted because that can no longer spawn, and you can detect that, um, and you can make multiple receivers with all the different kinds of enemies that you can spawn. You also don't need 10 statues. You can spawn them in, um, slowly like this, but that takes a while. So this is what the receiver looks like. There's no kind of wiring going off elsewhere. It's all very contained, which is quite cool. You have a world load detector, so you don't even need to turn it on. But how it works is this half-second timer turns on this quarter-second timer, and then immediately afterwards, this this spawns in, and like 2 ticks later, this quarter-second timer turns off, so you're not getting any sort of um, output. But if 10 statues spawn, which doesn't allow that to happen, we'll just take the statue out. The demonstration. Um, it This quarter-second timer can work, um, and it's detected through this kind of system here. Um, yeah, let's turn it back on. Um, there are problems with different kinds of receivers, though. If you're on a higher difficulty, um, things can go wrong. I like the undead Viking statue because it works with this lava path, but the zombie statue can't. They fill up the enemy cap too quickly because they're not dying fast enough. This can be fixed by just again teleporting them away, which is cool. So yeah, proper wireless wiring. This is obviously a first prototype, but I feel like it's the mechanic is there, and then you can build like logic systems off of that. Um, maybe for multiple receivers using the same kind of statue, so you don't need different kinds of statues. Um, you can have a system that detects exactly how many cycles have been missed um, in the time, and you can have the receiver um, have these spawned in for a set amount of time for a given cycle, and each receiver can be tuned to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cycles or whatever. But I'll leave that up to you people. Have fun with it, I guess. Oh yeah, if you want to use this system to activate a dummy engine, don't bother. Um, dummies need a player for them to initially spawn in. So if you try and trigger this from afar and you haven't been to the area that login, or even if you die in the world at any point, this dummy will despawn as well. An alternative to that is this little contraption. It's just spiky ball traps. Once they hit terminal velocity, um, travel at like close to 1 tick per second. Um, Close to. So sometimes you can get perfect 1 per tick, but other times you're a little off. So it's not great for like very precise timings. But if you just need a fast engine, um, this works as well. You just need a long shoot and make sure there's open or some honey at the bottom so the ball doesn't bounce back up and hit these again. And you can just turn it off as well with the same same thing.